Oklahoma, 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 Oklahoma.
I forgot about
Put the Dirty Rotten Scoundrels reference in there.
That's right.
Hey, everybody. Jim Williams here, coming to you from the beautiful paradise of Central Florida, JWW on the move. Today's episode takes us to Eufaula, Oklahoma, where we lived from 1989 to 1991. But before we take that trek to Eufaula, I wanted to take a moment to show you what arrived yesterday afternoon. A kind and generous and honorable gift, a plaque recognizing Adam's intentional accomplishment of traveling to all 50 states by the time he turned age 50. Here's the plaque that just arrived yesterday, as I said. It says, I have been to all 50 states. And this is called the All 50 Club. I was contacted by Mr. David Stone, Jr., on Facebook Messenger, who offered to pay for and arrange for the plaque to be given to Adam posthumously. He graciously asked my permission to have it done, to be issued to Adam in completion of going to all 50 states. The website is all50club.com. The owner is Alicia Pryor Rovey. The cover letter was signed. The cover letter that was accompanying the plaque was signed by Mr. Toby Sermon. So I'm taking this particular opportunity at the beginning of this video to say thank you to Mr. Stone, to Ms. Rovey, and to Mr. Sermon for their thoughtfulness, for their generosity, and for their kindness in showing this honor to our beloved son. The plaque reads, Adam the Woo, David Adam Williams, has visited all 50 states of the United States of America and has been awarded membership into the All 50 Club. And he accomplished this on November 3rd, 2024, all 50 by age 50. And that, of course, was his goal, was to get that done. The last state he visited was Alaska. Congratulations, son. And thank you, folks, for your generous and kind contribution. Now, let's get over to Eufaula, Oklahoma.
Using the self-pumping gas nozzle, fueling up 279 here. And we get into the last couple of states we've been in, hasn't been any issue with any gas shortage. But not taking any chances. Anytime I see a station and have, you know, I could use a little gas in the tank, I fill up just to be on the safe side. Oh, okay, it's filled up. Just now pulling into Eufaula. Lived here from, what years were we here?
89, 90, and 91.
3 years. Moved here from Niceville, Florida, early 89, and stayed 3 years. Got a lot of memories here. In 89, I would have been 15 years old, 15, 16, 17 years old. A lot of memories. Pulling into town. On the corner of Main and Pine is where we're standing. What's located here?
This is the facility where the First Christian Church used to meet. This is the church I preached at from 1989 through 91 here in Eufaula, Oklahoma. Here's a picture of the side of the building looking at this angle down the sidewalk there.
Down Pine Ave.
There's that sign.
Like that, the old one has been removed, and now it's called the Legacy on Main Street.
Some kind of a city facility of some sort.
And then over here are some bricks And you were telling me earlier on the drive in that some of the members of the congregation,
You see the people had their names engraved in these different bricks here. Some kind of a donation thing. This all happened before we came.
oh, these were here already when we arrived?
Yes.
Okay.
They were done in memory of people and so forth and so on. And it was generally in reference to the church building here, because notice it's not going on down the street.
Right, just directly in front. This was the entrance.
This was the main entrance.
It was like a secondary, we call that, not an alcove, but there was a
lobby.
foyer.
Foyer.
A foyer through here. Can't really peek in. Is it locked?
Yeah, it's locked.
Sunday school classes were here. And there was a second floor.
What?
There was a loft up top.
They got them screened up. You can't see them. Wait.
Looking through all the way to the end was where the pulpit was, and where the baptistry. Looks as if the baptistry has been removed. If you look down in there, that's where you'd stand for the sermons, all the way at the end.
Maybe we can see from a side window.
And around the back was the fellowship hall and your office.
Yes,
if
that
memory
door
serves
was
me.
back door to the building facility. When I first came here, a room up here in the front was my office, but then they remodeled this fellowship hall and made a corner of it into an office for me back here.
We used to play ping pong
And a ping pong table.
right against the other side of this wall.
This was a kitchen area right here. Still looks like it is.
So that corner was the window to your office is on that end, here.
Right here, yeah.
And then the ping pong table we had kind of in this section. We played a lot of ping pong.
We played a bunch.
Got pretty good.
That's where we had our fellowship meals and stuff. Yeah, it'd be nice if we could have gotten inside, but we can't.
This is a photograph of myself and daughter of one of the members of the congregation. So I am standing right against
That window right there.
this wall and window. So podium and baptistry right over there towards the end. And this hallway would be
right into this kitchen area.
right here.
Yeah.
No more pews in there. The seats have been removed. And the stage has been fixed up a little bit. Pretty decent sized area. My recollection, it was a little smaller than this, but pretty good sized room. So it has the brick walls.
Yep. Yep.
Get any memories flooding back?
Oh yeah, just all kind of stuff. I remember you and your sister were having a fellowship meal, and you and your sister were out here in the auditorium doing who knows what. I came in and you guys were having some kind of an altercation, arguing about something.
An altercation. Do what brothers and sisters
And
do.
your sister was trying to kick you, and I remember I got upset and I was mimicking her trying to kick you, and I was doing this, and you both started laughing at me.
I think then we started mimicking you
It was hilarious.
of how exaggerated.
We all got to laughing then.
Yeah.
How stupid it all looked.
Now it is tough to see because of the glare through the window, but there's a balcony up there. Do recall that. There's also an old photograph of what the building looked like into what were the Sunday school rooms there, and the entrance, which is just right over there, so it would be the front where all the members of the congregation would walk in. Bringing back a lot of memories walking in here. And just a block away, JM's Restaurant. Out of all the places that we ate here in town, I would say this was the one that we went to the most. We did eat at a lot of places, but JM's was kind of our local spot.
It was a go-to place.
It was a burger joint.
Always full, always packed, always standing room only.
It was tiny. The kitchen was over in here.
Yeah.
They have painted this kind of a 3D mural now. The booths started over in that corner. Now the sign, the old neon retro sign, is still there, and a nice Coca-Cola mural. One time I went out of town, I went to camp, and when I got back, my sister said, guess where we went while you were at camp? JM's. Maybe it was at camp, because you would have been there with me as a counselor.
I would have been at camp.
So I wasn't at camp, I was at a friend's house.
Or you ran away or something.
I ran away. When I got back, they said, your punishment for running away is knowing that we went to your favorite burger establishment while you were... Isn't it interesting how the mind works? I thought I was at camp. I wasn't at camp because you would have been there at camp.
I would have been there with you, yeah.
Well, maybe Mom and my sister went to JM without us.
Maybe they did. We're going to tell them they moved across the street.
Yes, JM's has now moved. It is obscured by, you can see the top where it says JM's. It is under new management and is over there. I thought about eating there. However, it's kind of early, and then after we go around the other Eufaula spots, there's another place that we were here for the grand opening. You know what place that is?
I'm remembering the very place.
What is it?
Braum's.
Braum's Hamburgers and Ice Cream.
How about them fries, Vern?
A little Ernest P. Worrell. Jim Varney.
Yep.
Used to promote Braum's. So we'll go to the house, we'll go to the lakefront, a few other spots, and then we'll hit up Braum's on the way out of town.
Sounds like a winner.
The front entrance was right here. There were some newspaper racks, a front door. You walked in. See, this, they even have the bricks here with the names from way back in the day. This was the front entrance. This ramp was built new where you walk up the ramp, but the front door was right here. There's a receipt from back in the day that still... There's a receipt from JM's going over to the booth. My favorite booth was over in this corner. So here was the kitchen. You would pay at the register here. The kitchen was all right here. Booth started here, and there was a separate room over there in that area. You'd kind of go through a couple of doors and sit over in that area. Any names you recognize on there?
This is people that contributed to have all this mural done. Apparently there were probably different designation of amounts. You have the platinum donors and the gold and silver and the bronze donors.
We donated a few dollars here and there for a meal or two.
Yeah, they did feed us a little bit for that. That's nice. It's got the name of the artist. Tracy Stump. Tracy Lee Stump.
2020. From this angle, if you're standing here where the camera icon is.
Oh yeah. Looks like a 3D mural.
Yeah.
Check it out.
Go stand right there on that side of that little cliff right over there and see if it works. See if the illusion works. You're kind of in the booths that we used to sit in or stand in. Well, we didn't stand in a booth. Oh, you're now teetering. Watch yourself, Dad. Watch yourself. Get your bearings, get your sea legs. Don't go over that cliff. Yeah, that's a good illusion. Currently over next to the church is a store called Boy Howdy. But back when we lived here, I think it was my grandpa that called it Howdy Doody. So we just always called it, we're gonna go up to Howdy Doody, but it was Boy Howdy. And it used to be somewhere in here, and since then has moved down the block or so, expanded quite a bit. Howdy Doody, Boy Howdy. Definitely a Eufaula thing. What was the special event they used to have?
Every year they had a holiday called Whole Hog Day.
Whole Hog Day.
We first moved here. Part of the festivities, everybody got a rubber hog nose that you were supposed to wear around
You had a rubber hog nose. You put it over your nostrils
with a rubber band around your head.
And they said if you did not wear the rubber nostrils, that they would put you in jail.
In jail, yeah.
So we showed up with our
hog noses,
pig noses on. 10 minutes later, we realized we are the only people following the ordinances of wearing the hog noses. So I don't think it was enforced. And by putting you in jail, they would put you in there and then someone would have to donate a couple dollars that went to a local charity.
And get you out.
And that would be the point of, and they would put like some of the local, the prestigious local people in there.
Politicians and...
Yeah, they'd go in there and people would donate.
Yeah, exactly.
Some of the politicians never were released. They're still in there. So the next year they had a chili contest.
They had a chili contest. Actually, they had a chili contest every year. But the next year, I got to be one of the judges. I got to taste every pot of chili that they had on Main Street that day.
That's not a bad job.
It's pretty good.
So this is Main Street. This is Foley Ave. We lived on Foley Ave. We're gonna go back to the car in a minute and drive down there. But this building, the center portion of this building used to be a video store, and I was in there when it caught fire and started to burn down. I also recall they were doing a newscast. Maybe one of the Tulsa stations came over and there was something happening here in Eufaula underneath that Bank of Eufaula sign, and I made it into the newscast. No telling whatever happened to that footage. But a younger me right over there underneath that Bank of Eufaula sign on the news. In a lot of ways, this reminds me of Main Street, USA. A lot of these small towns do. I didn't realize while I was here, but I was knee deep in a true Americana. Oh, you can see the water tower poking up over the top of the former video store. Now, this building here, constructed in 1900. Where Boy Howdy now sits was a 5 and dime. So 5 and dime or 5 and 10?
5 and dime.
A 5 and dime. And I didn't purchase my first baseball glove. Well, the first baseball glove Dad purchased for me, but I started mowing yards here in town, kind of like a impromptu self-employment opportunity, because I was too young to get a traditional job, and I mow some of the locals' yards. Saved up and bought a baseball glove inside the 5 and 10, the 5 and dime, where this Boy Howdy. What if they still have they have baseball gloves? I might buy a baseball glove for old time's sake. They did not have any baseball gloves. This is the post office where I got in a bike wreck one time, right here on the curb. This where you would go to the post office, Dad?
I believe it is.
Yeah, I wrecked a bike. Kind of a premonition of things to come with lots of bike wrecks in the future. Right there on that curb. And down here about a block or two was our home, next to the park and across from the Baptist church. This home here was where one of my friends lived. Speaking of baseball, we would play over in this side yard right there. There was a lot less foliage, and we would kind of throw the ball around, practice some bunting and whatnot. And they had a tree house up in one of these trees right up here. Now where we lived was up here on the right hand side, where they have constructed a brand new fence, a new wooden fence. But over here on this side of our home, these new houses have been constructed. Used to be a school. Used to be a school right in here.
And didn't you go down and help the janitor sometimes?
I did. I mentioned how I mowed yards around some of the local residents, but I also helped out the gentleman who was the nighttime janitor. So it would have been one of my first paying jobs of some sort.
I think you
under the table.
Yeah. Helped him empty the trash and stuff.
And that was right across from this alley here, which you used to pull all the way through this alley, would go to the next street over. Now, if you went through those double doors of the wooden fence, there was our garage right off to the side. Oh, there we go. There's the garage. So this is located
on the other side of that fence.
In fact, you could see up here, you could see the window on the top of the house. You can see it barely peeking over. See those right there, and those pillars there from our next door neighbors. This was almost, well, it wasn't quite a half acre, but it was a good size yard that I had to mow with a push mower in the heat of summer. I think that's part of the reason I don't like yard work anymore. And the exact perspective of where the front of the school was you see the ditch there, and the school was right there. Passed through here a few years ago. Well, I've actually been here a few times, and the school was torn down and this was an empty lot. And these homes are new.
Well, this is the front of the house when we lived here. There's me and your mom and your sister Faith. You took the picture. Notice we have a swing on the porch there, and that swing was wonderful as long as it lasted. And one day I'm sitting in it, and then for some strange reason it broke. Now you notice they have enclosed that porch area, which makes it look very nice. And it looks like they got the basic same color, but they repainted it. It looks very nice.
Yeah, in the past I've been by and it wasn't fixed up as nice as this, so they have done a lot of work on it. It's looking pretty good again.
There's a story about those steps that go down from the yard down to the street. It ices over here in Oklahoma, and of course we're just a few blocks from the church building. So one Wednesday night, I'm all dressed up, got my nice suit on and got a nice overcoat on. I'm going to come out and walk up to the church building. I tell you and your mom and your sister, I'm going to walk up to the church building. And so I come walking out, and I get to about that second or third top step, and it's totally iced over. And I slipped and fall and ripped my coat, and all in my hair's all disheveled. I go wandering back in the house, and your mom says, what are you doing back? What happened? I told her about falling down the steps, so I rode the car up to the to the church building.
It gets slick on that ice.
It does.
Oh yes. Lots of memories.
I remember you used to sit there on that front porch going through all your baseball cards.
I was thinking the same thing. I really loved baseball when I was here.
I think you had every card that existed at the time.
I had a lot. Tops, Fleer, Upper Deck, all of them.
And you were a wheeler dealer. I mean, man, you had all the kids in town swapping.
I traded a lot of cards with a lot of the local neighbors. Now, while on the subject of baseball, I would walk up here a block or two away, and I wasn't on a team here in town, so a lot of times I would just show up out here alone. I preferred to handle this alone, and I would pitch the ball up in the air and hit it with the bat out into the outfield, then run out, get the dozens of balls that I had, and launch them from here and see if I could get them back to home plate. I had a halfway decent arm at that time, and I usually was pretty accurate. There was also a house here, and the lady that lived here, I would mow her yard about once a week. Right in here. She had a house right in here. And the house now has been torn down. And I believe the driveway was right here to the foundation.
Sure is.
There you go. One of my first jobs, self-employment jobs, mowing a yard right there. When I say my sister and I spent a heck of a long time on this piece of equipment, that would be an understatement. Not hours, not days, not weeks, but if you add it up, it would be months upon end, time-wise, of us here in this park, and it still has the water. When it rains, the water still accumulates, just as it did back then. Now you would show up sometime. You were busy working most of the time, so it was usually me and my sister out here, and a couple of our friends. And we had a thing called flying. We would spin this around. Well, I would spin it around very quickly, and my sister would run along the side, grab onto it, and fling around. And this created a lot of mishaps, a lot of injuries. Was not the wisest thing. The fact that this still exists. Now, there was one of these in Aberdeen we went by, where your hometown was, and there's still one of these in Eufaula, one of the hometowns that I remember best. This is still here. This is amazing. This is an integral part of my youth in a lot of ways. When I think of my youth and memories, this is definitely probably in the top 10. This just piece of metal, this hunk of metal. Funny how that works.
There is an infamous viral video that came out of the time.
A viral video that someone that I put on my YouTube channel years ago, someone stole that footage from me and ended up putting it online to a website, and it ended up getting hundreds of thousands, if not millions of views of me spinning my sister around, her grabbing, and I believe she clipped out the legs of one of her friends.
Right here.
Yeah, that's what, oh, and then there was another time, no, the video was not the clipping of the legs, but her friend grabbing on to fly, quote unquote fly, and she did fly, because she could not hold on.
And she went slinging
and she
out.
went over here and landed, before this concrete was here, thankfully, went about 8 feet into the ground. Ah, yes.
Ah, lots of memories.
The internet. Don't dislocate his shoulder. Oh my gosh, you're going, that's pretty fast. Woo! Oh wow. It's a little more difficult not to get dizzy the older you get. I'm already getting dizzy. Oh yeah, it's all coming back to me now. Now across the way at the market has changed names. That was the grocery store. Look at this relic. Wow. Used to sit on these, the planks going across either side, going up and down. That's been there since the late 80s. So cool. Out towards the main highway, on the outskirts of town, was the other video store, the one that did not burn down. And look at this. This is an old school video return VHS tape slot here. You would put the tapes in there where it says tapes. It's now, it says, the sign says it's a realty agency, but I am seeing some VHS cassettes still. This place appears to be closed and abandoned. There's some VHS behind those windows. Are there not?
All the way down the wall. Both sides. You don't reckon this place is still active, do you?
Are people still renting VHS in Eufaula?
I can't imagine.
I'm gonna say no, but goodness gracious, like how? Who's renting VHS anymore in 2021?
Maybe they don't know what year it is.
Eufaula's stuck in the past. Stuck in the 80s.
I mean, it doesn't look like dilapidated or disheveled or anything. It looks like they're still in order, and that's odd. Very odd.
Wow.
We're having a revival meeting. The guest speaker and our family and everybody came out here to eat dinner after church. We're at this cafe, the Anglers Cafe, watching the screen of the TV. It was the third game of the World Series in San Francisco, and about 5:30 that evening, just before the game started, wham! They had the earthquake of 1989. We got to watch it all on TV. They canceled the game and everything.
Yeah, wow. I definitely recall that vividly. And it was inside the Anglers Cafe. Right in there. Yeah, wow, that brings back memories.
Somewhere down here in this curve was the business where we rented the U-Haul truck to move down to St. Cloud, Florida when we left Eufaula. I don't remember which building it was, and obviously we haven't seen any U-Haul trucks down here, but one of these places was where they rented them, and that's where we got it when we left to go to St. Cloud.
Could have been a place like this right over here.
Maybe, something like that. Our Christian church was called First Christian Church downtown. And we had a morning service. We did not have an evening service. This congregation, the Lake Eufaula Christian Church, had a morning and an evening service. Sometimes in the evening, I'd come out here and visit the church out here, and the minister here then at the time.
Within a couple weeks of moving here, I kind of started to explore the town along the lakeshore. And at that time, I believe Eufaula did not have a leash law for dogs. So a lot of the local dogs chased me, as I recall. Of course, it's been a long time ago, but I ran over here. There was a gate, and I had to shut this gate to protect myself from the dogs. That's the way it is in my mind, anyway. It probably was not as dramatic as I recall,
will. With dogs around here, it could have been worse.
There was a lot of dogs. And it was a couple blocks away, and then it was almost like the Rocky moment when he's running and all the town folk are chasing after him. That's how I felt with all the dogs. Now since then, I'm noticing there is an ordinance right up here that says city dog leash law is now enforced here in Eufaula. So if we moved here now, I wouldn't have to worry about that.
It would not be as a fearful thought.
There you go, ordinance 4-102.
You and your sister and your mother and I would come down here and play tennis. Well, actually, your mother and I would play tennis, and you and Faith would pretend like you were playing tennis.
Now, I use the term, this is for posterity, very often. And I got that from you because we borrowed a video camera from one of the members of the church. That footage has been lost forever. You were filming a couple of the locals out here shooting some hoops, and you were over here and you documented it on that old school Clark Griswold style VHS camera. He said, all right, make it a good one, guys.
For posterity.
This was for posterity.
There you go.
And the footage is gone, so it didn't matter if they made the shot or not. But the phrase lives on.
It lives on.
Look, there's a dog over there. There's a dog over there. He remembers me, that dog.
Drooling.
It's a descendant of those dogs that chased me back in the late 80s. You've heard the stories, dogs.
Yes.
He's looking this way. Okay. Is he on a leash?
I can't tell.
Oh, he hears us. Okay, he's looking away. This is our time to move. Oh, he's looking over here again.
Run, run.
If you look out on the lake there, there's a family of geese going by in a single file line.
Aww.
There was a restaurant over here that we go out onto the water and eat at. We ate there a couple times. The restaurant's still there. It's changed names, but it's over there where all the boats dock. Yeah, it's pretty neat. I've never seen a row of geese like that. They're not flying, they're just wading along. Now, there was a time the lake froze over. Here is myself and my sister. And very difficult to pinpoint because the picnic tables have been removed and the trees have been removed. But if I was a few feet over to the side, I can't go over there because there's a car parked, but you'll notice in the distance the tree line appears as if, well, the tree line in the distance, seems like that was the spot where the lake completely froze over. If I was just back if I could pull the car back a few feet, that's the same dock, at least I'm assuming it is. Yep, Lake Eufaula completely froze over.
I remember that.
You could walk out on it.
Yep, you guys did, in fact.
Over in this plot of land used to be a water slide. It wasn't a water park, it was just a water slide that we would frequent quite a bit. It was here next to the railroad tracks. We went here quite a bit.
We came here often.
Maybe over there where that piece of concrete is where the water slide stood. And my sister and I would get halfway down the slide and we would stop our momentum and people would
back up behind,
careen into us. So we would have half a dozen people wedged at the top of this water slide, and the water itself would almost like dam up, if you will. And then eventually someone very heavy would come down and break the half a dozen people that were stopping the slide, and we'd all end up at the bottom. The lifeguard would say, "Where is everyone?" We get to the bottom and there'd be like 15 of us hopping down in the pool.
I remember those days.
Ah, yes.
That was fun.
The water slide. Whatever happened to that water slide? Long gone. And right beside this is Braum's. When we were living here, the grand opening of this establishment took place. We attended the grand opening of Braum's because we loved Jim Varney, who played the character of Ernest, and he promoted Braum, so Braum's had to be good. Ah, little Ernest, Jim Varney memories. We kind of have the best of both worlds here. I went with, is that one of them Braum's hamburgers? Got the meat, the cheesy onions. Yep, it is. And Dad went with the bananas. That is quite a banana split. Went ahead and purchased myself a souvenir bag. Also some party peanuts. An orange soda with the Braum's logo on it. And check this out, an ice cream scoop that has the Braum's emblem on it there. Pretty cool. All right, Braums, it's been fun. I got some mementos to take with me back. Oh, the bag is now... All right.
Wow.
Great.